Good afternoon, members of the media. Thank you for attending this press conference. I have called you here today to provide a brief but important update on Bermuda Police Service's response to the recent surge in firearms-related violence, which has tragically resulted in 5 murders, along with 6 attempt murders or firearm-related injuries since May 1st, 2025. Some of the summary of the key event incidents this year. Obviously, we had a murder, tragic double murder at Legends Bar on the 1st of May. This year, approximately 10:30 p.m., a number of gunmen entered the bar and tragically shot and killed 32-year-old Ms. Jasmin Smith and 29-year-old Mr. Shaquan Williams. 3 additional individuals were injured in that particular incident. And then around 4:40 p.m. Tuesday, the 12th of August this year, 23-year-old Natrey Eversley, 18-year-old Nakai Robinson were shot and killed as they congregated and sat on Court Street. And our most recent shooting occurred at Dundonald and Court Street on a salon, 5 p.m. on the 16th of September. 37-year-old Janae Minus was tragically shot and killed. And as you would be aware, earlier today, a 24-year-old male was charged with her murder before the courts. In response to this senseless violence, the Bermuda Police Service put together Operation Sentinel, more targeted, focused on disrupting the operations of individuals involved in organized crime. And key components of the operation included increased use of our lawful powers, strategic surging of police presence in key areas, proactive stop and search operations in high-risk zones in anticipation of violence, high visibility foot patrols, particularly on Court Street and the surrounding environment, and execution of multiple search warrants at residences and businesses alike under use of our powers, whether it was the Misuse of Drugs Act, Firearms Act, Criminal Code, and the Police and Criminal Evidence Act. Some of the data that I can just share with you. In 2024, we had 19 confirmed firearms incidents, which resulted in 4 fatalities and 9 persons injured. However, in 2025, we've had half of that amount of confirmed incidents, yet we have 1 further fatality. So we've had 10 confirmed incidents this year, yet 5 persons have tragically been shot and killed. This suggests, as I've previously stated, that the accuracy and the intent of the shooters has unfortunately increased and improved, so which is not good reporting. In 2020, just to give you an example, we had 25 firearms incidents and 2 murders. So if you look at it, it took 25 shootings to arrive at 2 murders. This year, it's taken 10. So this is troubling. A troubling trend highlights the urgency and necessity of our intensified policing approach. So as a result of our Operation Sentinel, so far this year, we've executed 1,394, just under 1,400 stop and search, compared to the entirety of last year was just over 1,000. So stop and searches are up, averaging around 8-9 a day. Firearm seizures, we've seized 6 firearms this year already, 2 in the last week or so. So 1 on the 25th, 2 on the 25th of September from a local business on Court Street where 2 persons were arrested. They have been bailed pending further investigations. And a further 2 firearms last Thursday, the 2nd of October, from a private residence in Smiths, for which the young man will be charged and go before the courts imminently. In terms of arrests, like I said, in terms of these seizures, there were 3, 2 Court Street, 1 in Smiths. In terms of the updates in terms of the murder, so 1 man, like I said, charged today for the murder of 37-year-old Janae Minus. 2 men currently remanded in custody, charged with the murder, Legends Bar, on the 1st of May. and 2 men remain on police bail in relation to the Court Street murder on the 12th of August. In terms of the operation in dealing with bladed articles, as you will know, stop and search. The more stop and search we do, the more drugs, firearms, bladed articles we should see. So we've been very successful with that. We've had 80 arrests to date, in fact, for bladed articles. This year, the incidents are somewhat down, which is still a bit high. 19 incidents involving persons being injured by a bladed article, but that's a reduction from last year, which was our highest year on record, when we had 34. So in terms of the update, I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the members of our community. Without them, basically our operations won't be as successful as they have been. Their assistance and cooperation is very well appreciated, very well needed, and very much required, and we don't want them to stop there. If you have any information, as we always tell you, call the police. If you don't feel comfortable talking to a police officer, call Crime Stoppers. If you don't want to speak to Crime Stoppers, please speak to a police officer you know. And I also want to take this opportunity to recognize and commend the dedication of our officers. Some very, very hard work in difficult circumstances in recent weeks. So I just want to publicly commend our officers for their hard work and dedication, and Lord, may it continue. So thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the media. If you do have questions for Assistant Commissioner Daniels, please identify your media outlet and then ask your question.
Okay, Kian Dickinson, Bermuda Broadcasting News. With the recent town hall that was well attended, and with all of the incidents that have shook our community to the core, have you seen, you thank members of the community, but have you seen an uptick in members using the confidential hotline or reaching out to the police directly to offer, tips and information that have led to some of these arrests?
Yes, we have had quite a few business of assistance from the local community here lately, resulting in some of the actions that we've taken, seizure of drugs, seizure of firearms, prevention of violence. So yes, to your question, yes, there has been assistance, but we still require more. We never want to rest on our laurels and say, hey, yes, this is enough. If we want to continue to work together to eradicate or try to reduce some harm in our community, then more assistance is definitely required.
I know that there's a balance between information that you want to put out there, and I think it's maybe on top of minds of people that there may be retaliatory actions based on what has taken place in the last few weeks. Do you have any credible information that there may be imminent retaliation, and are you making efforts to ensure that the community, that you're doing everything possible to make sure that you're mitigating against any possible information that you have?
Yeah, well, without getting into specifics, of course, when you're in a space of organized crime, guns, drugs, money, tit for tat type behavior, that's the culture, that's the nature. So of course the police have built in mechanisms to try to reduce this harm in the community. So I don't want to really alarm our community to say that there could be a strike in a minute, but what I want to do is people to be aware that in this business, this is what happens, and you've seen it for yourself. One faction takes out a member of one side, and then the other faction wants to obviously seek revenge and try to take us. So we try to get in between that, and on top of that, what we want to do is try to obviously reduce the number of firearms in the community. So we have efforts where we not only try to reduce the harm through high visibility patrols, but we also want to target some of the members of these organized crimes. As you've seen from the stats I gave, we've made quite a few arrests. We've made some great impact, putting them in before the courts today. I think that's quite astounding.
Sekou Hendrickson with the Royal Gazette. Good afternoon, Mr. Daniels. First, I want to start off. There were reports reports, at least mentioned by TNN, of gunshots by Laurel Hill last night. Is the police aware of anything regarding that, and can they speak on that matter?
Yes, we received a number of calls as well about those gunshots, and obviously in our due diligence, we went, searched the area both last night and today. We returned for daylight search, but there's no evidence that we can confirm whether or not there were actually shots fired.
Mm-hmm. I see. And I guess while we're on the same topic, have there been any updates regarding the missing girl, Jador?
There's no real recent updates. I have Ms. Burns here. Ms. Burns, you want to have anything? It's nothing new, put it this way, to give to the media, except to say, obviously, because of her age, she's vulnerable. There's persons who may be holding her or may be whatever they're doing. I'm not saying holding her against her will, but whoever is, with her, that's against the law. So we're obviously very, very, very concerned, because I think it's been a number of weeks before this young lady has been home to her parents. So we are going kind of above and beyond to try to do everything to find this young lady, because we fear that she's not in the best hands where she should be home with her parents. So a big appeal to our local community. Again, we need your assistance. Would you like this to be your daughter or your loved one who you haven't seen for a number of weeks? You have to appeal to some people's sense of decency to come forward, and even if they don't want to come to the police, if they can somehow get this young lady to return home, will be a blessing for everyone.
I appreciate that there were a few search parties around Thursday. Have the police received any other further calls or information between then and today?
Yes, we're constantly receiving information, but sometimes the information we're grateful for the information, but what we want to do, we want information that's going to lead to getting the young lady back home safely to her mother.
Mm-hmm, I see. And I guess coming back to Operation Sentinel, as you mentioned, there's obviously been quite a bit found from these heightened police presence and this police operations. Can people anticipate this being, obviously not to its current extent, but essentially the new norm? Can people expect to see more police foot patrols, more stop and searches, even after we may have gone over the quote unquote height of this investigation?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's a new normal. So I don't think we're going to ever get over the height. I think it's here right now in the present. So the police have to deploy accordingly, and like I said, you would see now with the use of technology as well, because it's not human capital can't solve it alone. So things like CCTV, drones and the like also assist us to try to keep the community safe. So, but I take your point, to sustain this operation with the numbers we have is quite difficult. However, we're going to see if we can find creative ways to make sure we maintain the visibility levels, to try to get into space whereby we reduce opportunities for these persons who want to wreak havoc in the community to do so.
I see. And on the topic of CCTV footage, I understand that a few weeks ago, the Commissioner of Police, he had mentioned that obviously as police rely on CCTV footage, sometimes the public doesn't always have that CCTV footage in their areas where it could be very helpful, and sometimes rely more so on government CCTV. So is there anything that you would like to say to the public regarding the importance of installing their own CCTV, if not for themselves, then for police work in general?
Right. I mean, I'm not going to tell the community, what to and not to do. However, when we do come in these areas and you have CCTV, I think it's been, and Ms. Burns, who's our lead SIO in serious crime, would tell you that these CCTV from personal spaces has really helped improve investigation. So what we're seeking is cooperation. So if we come and we ask for someone's personal CCTV, it's not because we want to do anything nefarious. It's because we want to promote healthy investigations, so to speak. So yeah, so I'm not going to say people should go out to the store and buy CCTV. That's not my rule. However, if you have CCTV, to share it, I think it's quite key.
Mm-hmm. That is everything. Thank you.
Any final words?
No, that's it. Good.
Thank you very much, members of the media. That ends today's press conference.
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.